It's Jim here again, coming from the Moose Basin Store and Bed and Breakfast here in Kapuskasing, and I'm just making this video to start something new for 2026. I'm going to start giving weekly updates in regards to some of the winter activities and, well, just activities in general, because this is going to be a weekly thing throughout the year, to give you updates on things like trail conditions, ice conditions, fishing conditions, trail conditions, etc., to keep everyone posted on what is going on up here and what the different opportunities are like up here. Because everyone knows there's, for example, snowmobiling. Everyone knows we have great trails up here, but especially last week and in December, we had so much snow that our trails got open and closed, and now they're starting to open again. So it's a lot of times it's depending week to week as to whether or not the activities are good. So we want to just provide weekly updates as to what things were like for the last week and what things are going to be looking like moving forward to the next week, and keep people updated in regards to that, and also mention things that that I feel need to be pointed out and mentioned going on in the outdoors community up in the Kapuskasing area. So for today's video, I'm gonna obviously start off with the most questioned activity up in the area right now, and that is trail riding. The snowmobilers coming up here, because as I said, we had trails open, then they got shut down. We got 3 storms in the area in December that all pushed 30 centimeters of snow, and we just got proper hammered in December. And hats off to all the groomers, operators, and trail associations that were able to get our trails back on track as quickly as they did, considering what we went through up here in December. So I'll just switch screens here. And right here is the OFSCA trail map based as of this morning. Like, this is right now, real time. And as you can see, as of right now, we got the main trunk trail. The A trail is all green from Iroquois Falls all the way up to Hearst. We also, I forget the name of the association, it's drawing a blank, but the Hearst Association almost has their Missinabie adventure loop done, and the Cap Snow Rovers are pretty close to getting the Lumberjack loop fully completed. There's some in yellow and some in red, but I don't imagine it's going to take that long. This map has been going green consistently day after day. The associations are doing a great job getting it going, and I don't know the status from the Abitibi sled riders, but not sure when this loop's going to get done there. But the loops are coming. The main trails are going green. You can ride from Iroquois Falls all the way to Hearst now. And isolating in on the Kapuskasing area here, again, we're mostly green. I think the reason the Remy Lake one here is there's still a lot of drifts and a lot of deep snow going on, and this week the temperatures are warming up, so that might get a little bit slushy. But I know a lot of people have had their machines out on Remy and that, and the ice it's thick enough for a sled to go on at this present time. So proceed with caution if you go there. But one thing I want to mention about Kapuskasing, and some people have actually questioned these trails here that lead in here, Kapuskasing is a very sled friendly town. There are only 2 places you can't ride on, and that is obviously the highway, which has the A trail running right beside it, and you can't bring your sled into the circle here. But anywhere else, You can just ride the streets, go into Riverside Park. You can see the skidoo trails crossing here, and many people will go down and cut through town and use Riverside Park to get to the A Trail. But the circle, even though you can't park there, that is an older part of town. There's a lot of local businesses in there, and especially at night when they have the lights on in the circle, it's something pretty to see. So if you're sledding and you want to see the circle and you want to shop in the circle, my place, the bed and breakfast, is right on the corner here of Kane and Riverside. If you want to shop in the circle, feel free to park in my driveway and take the short block walk into the circle and shop there. Even if you're not staying with us, pop in for a coffee. We'd love to talk sledding with you, and we hope that one day you'll stay with us, but that's not the point. The point is doing whatever we can to make sure you get to see and do what you want to do. So with that in mind, if you want to stop in at the circle, feel free to park on my property. There is plenty of parking available, and we'll get you to the circle, seeing what you want to see, and hopefully I can convince you to rent some ice fishing gear and maybe even just get out on the bay and drill a few holes for you. But that's an option if you want to see the circle. And just, again, just know that not just Kapuskasing, but basically every town along this northern corridor is extremely snowmobile friendly, and just ride wherever you want. Everyone up here just asks that you be respectful about it. And on the topic of being respectful, I will add that somebody, we don't know who, keeps taking the wood out of the warm-up shelter that the Cap Snow Rovers have just off of Remy Lake. And I want to use this video to do a big shout out to a few riders from Peterborough who were mentioned that they took the time to use their sleds on their vacation time to help the Snow Rovers reload the wood at this warm-up shelter. And that means a lot. I know everyone up here, including the riders, like not just the Snow Rovers, all the riders up here that have heard about that really appreciate what you did. You could have just went home, got on your computer, talked about how there was no wood in the shelter and you could have really focused on the negative, but instead you chose to help out a local association fix a problem that they didn't create themselves. You were there to help instead of just being there to complain. And we thank you for that. And if you happen to be watching this, just know that everyone involved, everyone that uses the trails in the area is very grateful that you did that. Which, as we're talking about warm-up shelter on Remy Lake, that is kind of a good segue to get into what the ice fishing is doing up here. And found this past week the bite was slow, not just for me, but pretty much everyone I talked to said it had a rough go of it this week. But that being said, there is plenty of safe ice anywhere I've went and anywhere I have heard of people going. And that's all the way from down south here. I've drilled holes in many parts of the river, at least a foot of ice anywhere I've drilled. People are fishing on their huts on René Brunel, and people are reporting safe ice as far up to Guilfoyle, Allen, and everywhere. So right now, the ice is safe, but if you're coming up for ice fishing this year, as I mentioned, there's a lot a snow came down in December, and there are many spots where there is still a lot of snow on the ice, and especially near the shorelines where it's been drifting. If you don't have a sled or something to get over it, there's a very real chance you'll be trudging through waist deep snow at some point to get to where you're going. And the temperatures are warming up next week. Like this coming week, we're meant to get highs of approaching 0. So a lot of that might turn slushy this week. We're hoping that a lot of it did drift off as I'm mentioning this, but it's doubtful. I think this week could be a pretty slushy week, but the ice in any spot we have went to has been built up that there is safe fishing going on. And from what I've understood, right now the best fishing I've heard about has been coming from people fishing for SPLAKE, and they've been using tube jigs on it. So right now, I guess the fishing report is lots of safe ice. SPLAKE are biting on the tube jigs up here right now. And we're hoping to get out on the ice more and actually start filming more on ice stuff, because I haven't got my camera out on one adventure yet. I just get locked in on work and forget I also have to do marketing stuff. Got to get better at that. But in terms of backcountry riding, switching up a bit, lots of deep drifts, lots of snow in the backcountry. I would highly encourage anyone coming up to do some backcountry riding to definitely let people know where you're going, or bring a guide, because it is an unusual year for the amount of snowfall we've gotten, and we've already had a lot of local backcountry riders need to get bailed out a few times. So it's probably best that you come up here with the right equipment, let people know where you're going, and get some form of guide for your backcountry adventures right now, because things have been wild in the backcountry up here with all this with all the snow we've been getting. We're hoping that again, we're hoping things level off and gets back to normal, but right now we have a lot of snow, and it's been causing some unexpected problems to everyone who does anything related to snow up here. It's just been one of those years. And I will end this video by kind of talking about an activity we were going to be doing, and that is the ice fishing tournaments. And I'm gonna switch back over to my face view here, but I'm not going to be doing the ice fishing tournaments because I don't know how to do things fairly over an internet-based platform in a way that would be fun for everyone to participate and and to meet the purpose of getting anglers together to socialize. Like, any way I think of doing it with a weigh scale, that's just going to end up killing a lot of fish that I don't want to kill. But if I do it all internet based, then there's no real motivation for people to get together and enjoy the fellowship of other anglers and build an angling community that helps new anglers get into the sport and helps grow the sport in the area. So instead of doing tournaments, what I am going to do, and there'll be an update on this in next week's weekly video, but I'm just going to pick an evening out of the week and I'm going to be setting my shelters up most likely in the bay in Kapuskasing, and I'm just gonna set it down there, have the equipment have all the equipment down there, have a nice warm spot, and if anyone wants to drop a line in, I will be there to drill holes. If anyone's new to ice fishing and they want to learn, I can be down there to show them the gear they need, lend them a couple rods, and hopefully get them onto some fish, but at least show them what goes into ice fishing and that, and get them experiencing it, hopefully for the first time. Or it's also an opportunity for people who just don't have the time to lug their own gear out, or just don't have their own gear, to be able to come down, sit down on the water, chat about fishing with the line in the water, and just make a good afternoon or evening out of it. And I will add that evening fishing in the bay in Kapuskasing, when they have the lights on in the park, is absolutely beautiful. No matter where you look, you have some beautiful background to look at. It's absolutely amazing. I will actually make a point of going down to the bay and getting out on the ice tonight and taking a few videos of that for you, because it's a beautiful spot to drop a line in. Any time of day, really, but particularly at night when the lights are on. It's quite beautiful. So we'll get back to you on exactly what day we'll be doing that, but everyone will be invited. It's going to be for everyone, but we highly encourage anyone who hasn't experienced ice fishing yet and who can sit leaning towards wanting to get into it in the area to keep following us, find out when we're doing it, and come on down. There's nothing we would like more than to get you following through on something you're interested in and getting you to develop the same passion for the sport that we love as we do. And we want to pass on that love of angling to you. So we will be setting up down in the bay. There will be no fee for any of this. What I will do, I will be bringing a very small selection of stuff from the store and potentially some live bait down in case anyone wants to just pick up some bait when they're down there and use their own bait and that. But for the most part, I'll just be using lures and just down there and enjoying whatever we catch with what we're using. And the point is, it's not a money-making thing. We just want to get people out and build the angling community in Kapuskasing. It's all about the fellowship, and hopefully we get a lot of kids and new anglers and new families out enjoying time together out on the water. That's what we're trying to promote with this. The same thing we were trying to promote with the friendly fishing days in the summer. That is the goal. So we hope to see you all out there, and we hope to see you up in Kapuskasing. So let's enjoy this winter out there. And again, special thanks to all the people out there who are doing their part to make things better and not just complaining their way through all the mishaps. Thank you for the people that are part of the solution and not part of the problem. Until next time, tight lines, folks.